Hello, welcome to Level Change channel. My name is Claudio Fonseca. I'm a real 777 pilot. Today we are going to use FSiPanel, an application developed by JP that you can use on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 like I'm using today, or even Prepare 3D. That is going to help you to practice your approaches and also include a couple of other features like these training scenarios. It can also evaluate your landing. You can even create random failures or specific failures as you want your flight. So infinity possibilities here with this application. So today we are going to use this software for this training scenario on this flight between Saint Martin to Paris. Basically, we are not going to Paris. I'm going to tell you that, and I have to show you what we are planning to do today. So let's go. Let's jump first into FSiPanel training scenario instructions. Okay, so what is going to happen is not a surprise to me, and especially because when I start reading what was about to happen, I asked also JP a couple of things, and we are going to talk about these and how we manage this kind of failures during the flight itself. Okay, but basically we are today, let me highlight here, Air France 499 from Saint Martin to Paris. Okay, so this is a long haul flight from Saint Martin to Paris Charles de Gaulle. So we have our initial setup here. I actually already pushed back. So the weather is 070 degrees, 60 knots for the wind, visibility more than 10, fuel clouds 5000, temperature 34, altimeter 3027, and there is no significant changes expected in the next 2 hours. We have an airport close by, which is Guadeloupe. Wind is very similar, 06018, more than 10, fuel clouds 4500, 35 degrees, 1025 is the altimeter, also with no significant changes. It is raining now in Paris, but we are far away from Paris, and they alternate. I think this may be Lyon by the Lima here. I don't know. It's also raining. I don't really care about the alternate because I know I'm going to have some failure and we are going to come back. Okay, there is a NOTAM that an airport called Tango Alpha Papa Alpha is closed to all traffic due to runway work in progress, so the runway is not available anyway. I did the procedure itself and I start the setup. Actually, I did the pushback like this, and we are about to start our taxi. I'm going to show you what I changed on the FMC, and then I'm going to do the before taxi checklist, and we already start our flight from there. Okay, so that is some tips for these scenarios, which basically at some point you have hydraulic quantity low center, and if you do not have hydraulic fluid, you are going to lose this system. Okay, so our cleared initial level will be 290. We cannot expect any other call before the failure. Once you get hydraulic quantity low center, call pam. This is something that we are going to discuss, okay? But eventually I will have to call the pam so we can continue the scenario and complete this flight. And then I understand that is going to say that we have two options: go back to Saint Martin or go back and actually continue towards Guadeloupe. Okay, so we are going to talk about this decision making as well between Saint Martin and Guadeloupe. Fuel on board, and follow ATC's instructions for the remaining of the flight. Okay, we have the standard departure, Juliana 2 departure. Do not turn below 400 feet. At some point we will clear direct to Manolo. Okay, so we have Manolo. The malfunction is hydraulic quantity low center. I'm going to discuss that with you, so I don't really have to read all of these. So primary flap and slats operation is in op. Main landing gear hydraulic operation is also in op. Main landing gear steering is in op. Auto speed brake is in op. and we have to do a flaps 20 landing. We are going to discuss all of this. For the fuel jet, I'm also going to do with you, most probably, emergency pump time management. We are going to talk about it, holding at a vacuum or reading, that's fine. Extend to the flaps 20, we are going to do it. To lower the gear, yes, we are going to do it as well. For final approach, okay, then the standard flight, and we stop on the runway because we cannot taxi the airplane, that is fine. If you fly the RNAV runway 10, yeah, it's we have the final point is Mapon, so we cannot fly the missed approach, sorry, the continuation of the approach with flight directors, and these are the frequencies that we are going to use. Okay, so basically we already know what we are going to have, and as I told you, we are ready for our taxi. Okay, as it's going to take a while, I think, to develop this malfunction, because it's saying that we go up to flight level 290, so we have time to talk about it. Okay, modifications that I did, I changed here on takeoff reference page 2 our acceleration height to 3000 feet because of the mountains that we have around. So we are going to depart this way and we are going towards these mountains, so I don't really want to accelerate close to these mountains, even though we are going to start the turn at 400 feet and we are going to be going towards the sea. Depending on the radius of this turn, we may even overfly this area. We are not supposed to do it, but maybe we do, so I do not want to start accelerating at 1000 or 1500. We keep the airplane climbing up to 3000 and then we start accelerating. Okay, so the departure itself is this one, is straight ahead up to 400 feet only, and then we turn right to intercept radial 166, and then when we are 10 miles and 4000 feet or above, we are going to turn left to intercept 12 miles arc towards radial 059, and then we go ahead towards Manolo. The 3000 feet acceleration height is also going to help us to reach the 4000 feet by the 10 miles. If we were heavy today, we are not that heavy. Our weight is 206.5. We are slightly above maximum landing weight of 251. Okay, so 15 tons above maximum landing weight. Okay, so the next step before we continue is to do the before taxi checklist, which states for anti-ice it is in auto. Recall I checked, we only have TCAS off. Flight controls are checked and ground equipment is clear. Actually, I want to make sure that my joystick is working, so let me do, yeah, this is a very quick flight controls check. Usually we do it much slower, but just to make sure that my control is working. So let's start this scenario from the taxi. Air France 499 Heavy, ready for taxi.
Roger, Air France 499er, hold position, I'll call you back in a few seconds.
Holding position, Air France 499 Heavy. Yep, here we are. Let's see. This is our departure runway. So we have two options, taxi via Bravo or taxi left here via Charlie. Let's see what tower tells us.
Air France 499er, are you able to exit the apron via Charlie on your left?
Affirm, we can exit the apron via Charlie, Air France 499 Heavy.
Roger, thank you, Air France 499er. Turn left on Charlie and hold short of runway.
Turn left, Charlie, hold short runway, Air France 499. Okay, so here we do taxi light on. As I'm not at home, I'm going to need to go through all the screens because I do not have my full setup here. Not a big deal. So we turn left here and we hold short the runway. Oversteering a little bit. Engines back to idle. And here we are. I will do it everything very slowly with you today.
Air France 499er via Charlie, enter and backtrack runway 10 and report ready for departure.
Enter backtrack runway 10, report ready for departure. Air France 499. Okay, as we are entering the runway, runway turn off, strobo, and transponder from transponder to TA array. Okay, so this is the runway. We can start turning right here. Runway is long enough to accommodate this turn. So there we are. We know what we are going to do for this takeoff. So basically 400 feet we start a right turn, and then around 3000 feet we start accelerating, and by the briefing package it says that above MSA we are going to get a direct to Manolo. MSA highest here 4100 on the departure sector, but actually we stay on the area of 2600, 4100 only on the southeast sector here, sorry, southwest sector here. Okay, so that's it. So there we go, taxiing in in San Martin. And I will do a couple of things different from my perspective in real life, because the failure that we are going to have, I will not come back for that failure. I will continue this flight towards Paris. We are going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you why and how I would continue this flight anyway. And once we are doing the procedure itself on the way back, I'm going to try to explain you what are the difference from the real airplane, a couple of things that PMDG was not able to give to us due to some checklist limitations. Okay. So there we are ready for departure. We can tell tower we are ready for departure. Air France 499, we are ready for departure.
Air France 499er, runway 10, wind 07016 knots, you're cleared for takeoff, passing 3000 feet to contact the radar 128.95.
Clear for takeoff, runway 10, 3000, radar 128.95. Air France 499. So there we go. So as we are cleared, lights they go on, and we can do the before takeoff checklist before takeoff checklist is complete. We are going to follow the line here for the turn. We have even an arrow that indicates the direction of this turn. Some airports you have, some airports you don't. If you do not have, then you can choose which side you are going to do the turn. But actually this is the best way for the departure, as you are going to be closer to the runway edge, the beginning of the runway. Okay, so here we go. There we go. We'll be lining up. Runway 10, we are ready to go. We can release our tiller. Take thrust to 55%. And then press toga. Thrust ref, set takeoff thrust, thrust set,
80 knots.
checked.
V1. Rotate.
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up, LNAV, 400 feet, right turn, oops, and we can engage autopilot, thrust ref, VNAV speed, autopilot. Let's see from outside, very quick, as I told you, we go above all these mountains here, so it's nice not to accelerate at this point. We are going to cross 3000, so we can call departure. Radar, hello, Air France 499, heavy, 3000, climbing 6 on the Juliana to departure.
Hello Air France 499, you're identified. Climb flight level 150 and passing
Flaps
4,000 feet. Left turn at direct mono is approved.
Flaps up. Climb flight level 150, passing 4000, left turn direct Manolo. Air France 499. So 15,000. That's our initial clearance. 4,000 we can go to Manolo. So Manolo direct, LNAV is there, it is available, we are reaching 250 knots, so we are going to maintain this speed for the turn, executing, and there we are. So flaps are up, gear is up. I forgot to set my weather radar and terrain on the FO side. So here we are. Now we can do after takeoff checklist. After takeoff checklist is complete, transition altitude is there, so we can set altimeters to standard. All set. So we keep climbing, left turn. Let's see Saint Martin. So this was our departure, this is the airport, we turn right and then we got after MSA clearance to go direct to Manolo. And here we are. We're passing 7,500 now. If I was going to be on the turn when crossing 10,000, I would keep the speed. I don't want to accelerate during the turns as well. Passenger comfort, if we remember, it's always nice. But in this case, we'll be level when crossing 10,000 feet, wings level, so no issues. Now that we have flaps up, we are also above MSA. We are going to cross 10,000. And let's see how it is ahead of us. A little bit of clouds. Maybe we can maintain this speed just to get over the clouds. So speed window open, and then on the FMC maximum angle is 241, and if we want maximum rate of climb, then we need to take our VREF 30 plus 120 knots, in this case 174. Okay, so 174.
Air France 499, contact Saint Laurent 11815. Bye bye.
11815, Air France 499. Bye bye. So let's wait until we get 11815 there. Yes. Let me just open here. Want to open a different application here. 11815. Okay. 274. So for the speed. Who was this controller? I don't remember, so we call it radar. Reference 499133, climbing flight level 150.
Air France 4909er, send 1 radar low, you're identified. Climb flight level 270.
Climb flight level 270, speedbird 499. 270 is set, and so yeah, so actually the maximum rate we have flap up plus 60. Flap up is 80 plus 60 is 140 knots actually. So 140 knots, so this should be 294. And what's our standard speed today? 320. So we are going to maintain 294, okay, as maximum rate of climb. So this is the maximum rate of climb for us right now. Note that FMC only gives you maximum angle. So for the maximum rate of climb, you need to go your flaps up plus 60, which in this case is VREF 30 plus 140, and until you reach Mach decimal 82, then is Mach decimal 82 all the way. Okay, so standard climb here. So we already passed 10,000 feet, we can call it 10,000, so the lights can go off. And no electronics, auto. And for the seat belts, I would like to keep the seat belts on for a while we cross these clouds here. Because this is a long flight, there is no point to release cabin crew right now, release passengers right now, and then start having some turbulence in 1 or 2 minutes while we cross these clouds here, and then we have to turn the seat belts on again. So for now, I will keep it on as we continue our climb. And by the way, our climb, we are expecting 350, recommended is 350, it's close to the optimal, maximum 360, all good for us to continue towards. Okay, so here we have hydraulic quantity low center. Okay, so we fly the airplane first, autopilot still working, we can continue climbing, there is no issue so far, so we can do the checklist itself. Hydraulic quantity low center checklist condition, the center hydraulic quantity is low. Note, nose wheel steering may be slow to react. Excessive force on the nose wheel steering tiller may cause abrupt tiller movement in the opposite direction. So if it's very slow to react, actually it can be very slow to react, and if you are taxiing,
climb flight level 290, expect flight level 350 after position Obiki.
climb flight level 290, Air France 499. Okay, so and in case we were to taxi in this situation, we have to make sure we really hold the tiller. Okay, we'll see later on if it's a good idea to taxi or not, but that's what we have so far. So hydraulic quantity low, checklist complete. One thing that I want to do, I want to go now to the hydraulic page. We can clear this message and we want to see what we have. Actually, the hydraulic quantity is low, 0.27. We departed with something like 1.0. We still have pressure and we still have the main electric pumps working, but the nose wheel, nose gear and steering and alternate reserve brakes, we should have actually here the line here to alternate and reserve brakes. Okay, just isolating the nose gear and steering. Okay, so what it does initially, it just isolate these 2 valves, so you still have your fluid from the and the pressure from the electrical C1 to the alternate and reserve breakers, and the electrical C2 is giving you the hydraulic power to flaps, main gear and steering, and flight control so far. Okay, so the only thing that we lost was the nose gear and steering as the checklist itself. Okay, so it makes sense. We can even do ACAS or a recall. So let me take a hydraulic back, so we can do a recall. So hydraulic quantity low center, that's the only problem that we have. We can continue the flight like this, no issues, but as we are losing hydraulic quantity, what are we going to do right now? I will tell ATC, I will tell them something like this: radar Speedbird 499. They will say, go ahead and say Speedbird, so not Speedbird, Air France 499. We have hydraulic quantity low indication. We apparently lost hydraulic fluid. Okay, I say apparently because maybe this is a sensor and indication. So apparently we lost hydraulic fluid. And can you check with airport in San Martin if they have any hydraulic leak along our taxi route and our departure runway? So they will call then in this case the tower to see and tell them, guys, the Air France that just departed, they lost hydraulic fluid. Do you see anything? Because maybe this hydraulic leak even started during the taxi or during the takeoff. So they will evaluate the runway, they will check, and they will let us know if they found it or not. If they found it, for sure it's a leak. We have to consider a leak, and by the way, this way we continue the flight. Okay, we may have other indications that will confirm that this is a real problem to the airplane, and if we cannot confirm, we always think that this indication is real. Okay, so it's very important, but there is no reason, this is 1000 to go to level at flight level 290, there is no reason to stop the flight so far. Okay, right now we have a couple of other messages, and they are hydraulic pressure primary C2, hydraulic pressure primary C1, so spoilers. Okay, now we have hydraulic pressure system center because the system is gone, spoilers, no land 3, auto speed brake. Okay, so I'm going to do hydraulic pressure system center, no normal checklist. Okay, so we open the checklist itself and I go to hydraulic pressure system center. Hydraulic pressure system center checklist condition: the center hydraulic system pressure is low. Okay, so we had low quantity, so most probably we lost hydraulic quantity, hydraulic fluid, so we have no hydraulic fluid anymore, or it's very low, and now we even lost the pressure. So that indication for the hydraulic quantity was correct. Objective of this checklist: to restore system pressure and configure for landing using alternate system if needed. Okay, so we are going to try to restore system pressure and then later on configure for landing using alternate system if we cannot restore the pressure. Okay, so C1 or C2 air demand pump selector. Here we have two problems. Or first problem is that it's asking to turn on one pump and it's only one. Is the C2 or the C1? Sorry, C1 or the C2. Is not and. Okay, one or the other. The second problem that we have here is that we have to identify the correct pumps, which is the air demand. Okay, so we are talking about the demand pumps and not the primary pumps. Okay, so when we go to our overhead here, even though this is faulty right now, what they want us to do by the checklist is to turn the C1 or C2 demand pump to on. Note that they are auto. Okay, so they are both in auto. We can choose one or the other when we can turn it on. Okay, so we turn it on and we go back to the checklist. Then it states hydraulic pressure system center message blanks. I can already tell you that it didn't, because we still have hydraulic pressure system center as amber here. Okay, anytime this is not active anymore, this is going to turn white. Okay, but in any case we can confirm that is still there as well, hydraulic pressure system center. Okay, so we go back to our checklist. Hydraulic pressure system center message blanks, no. So what they want us to do: C2 electrical primary pump switch off. Now we are talking about C2 electrical primary pump to off. Only the C2 and only the primary electrical one. Okay, so primary electrical one, C2 off. If we go back, it's there. We did the correct one. Now C1 and C2 air demand pump selectors off. Okay, so both air demand C1 and C2, they go to off. We had just turned one to on, so now they want this to off and the other one to off as well. Okay, so we continue the checklist. Now it says ground proximity flap override switch. We go to override. It's really close by here. Flap override. We go to override. Okay, and we can even close this. Yeah, it's in the override mode. Okay, so hydraulic pressure system center checklist is complete, but we have a couple of information. You do not have to read this inhibited checklist. Is that the checklist that you finish, they are not going to, actually the two checklists that is showing here, auto speed brake and spoilers, they were removed because everything that is going to be related to auto speed brake and spoilers is going to be covered by this checklist itself. So note, in operative items, primary flap and slats operation in op. Plan more time for the slower flap and slat operation. Main landing gear hydraulic operation in op, alternate gear extension is needed. Main gear steering in op, tires may scrub during turns. So better idea not to taxi this airplane. Note, slats will extend beyond mid-range when airspeed is below 256 knots. For go-around, do not exceed 256 knots until slats retract to mid-range. Note, use flaps 20 and VREF 20 for landing. This ensures adequate go-around performance due to slower flap slat operation in secondary mode. So the flaps 20 is for go-around performance. Okay, so we are going to use flaps 20, and in case of go around, we go around with flaps 20. It doesn't tell us to go around with flaps 5 like it would be, for example, if we were choosing flaps 20 for single engine. A single engine, if you choose flaps 20 for landing, you go around with flaps 5. For this figure, no. It's just telling you the difference is flaps 20 for landing. It doesn't say anything for go around, so you go around with flaps 20. The roll rate may be reduced in flight. Speed brake effectiveness may be reduced in flight and during landing. Do not arm the speed brake lever. This prevents inadvertent in-flight speed brake extension, and manually extend the speed brake after landing. For go around, do not exceed gear extend limit of 270 knots Mach 8.2, because if you extend the gear using alternate gear extension, you cannot retract the gear. Okay, so hydraulic pressure system center checklist is complete. We can close and we can review ICAS. It says hydraulic pressure system center, fuel low center, spoilers, no entry, and auto speed brake. So basically, we have fuel low center that was not supposed to be here. Now we can turn off the pumps. Okay, so this is done. So what we have is hydraulic pressure system center. This is the main failure. Because of this failure, we have some problems related to spoilers. Okay, so we do not have automatic speed brake after landing. No land 3, so we cannot do Cat 3 Bravo approaches anymore. We are limited to Cat 3 Alpha. Okay. And then the last step is auto speed brake is related to spoilers. Before we clear these messages, I can even open, for example, the flight control page, and then we can check what we have also. Basically, here on the left side, it says that we lost the center hydraulic, but we still have the left and the center. And with 2 hydraulics, we can continue flight. We can even fly tops, no issues. Flight control mode is in the normal control mode, and here we have indications that we lost a couple of spoilers. Spoilers 1, 5, 7, 8, 10. So 1, 5, 7, 8, 10, what I'm calculating wrong. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so yeah, so we lost 1, 5, 7, 8, 10, and 14. That's why row rate may be reduced, but we can still fly. Okay, so this is a flyable airplane, and considerations for not to come back with all this failure, and especially because of landing with flaps 20. Okay, I want to land with the lowest amount of fuel that I can, to reduce my approach speed, and also to reduce the rate of descent on the approach. That is going to improve my handling of the airplane. Okay, so as I don't want to go very far, I'm going to do like this. Okay, let's say that we have now just decided that we are capable to continue the flight. Okay, but at this stage is the time to talk to the company. Okay, so we are going to call the company via our satellite communication phone, and we are going to tell them, guys, we lose the hydraulic system center. What do you want us to do? We are thinking about continuing to Paris, if that's okay for you. And then they will say, no guys, we don't like this situation. Only 2 hydraulic systems to cross this ocean, so we have maintenance, and we think it's better for you to go back to Guadeloupe, where we have a good maintenance for you. Okay, so now we already know what we are going to do, more or less, but it would be possible to go back to Saint Martin, and I'm going to explain you why we could go back to Saint Martin. But let's tell ATC now that we want to go back to Guadeloupe, basically. Center Air France 499, we have a hydraulic issue. We would like to return actually and divert to Guadeloupe. Tango Fox Romeo.
Roger, Air France 4990, Pan is acknowledged. Maintain flight level 290 and turn right heading 170 to remain in my airspace.
Right, 170 for now, maintain 290, speedbird 499. So heading south, 170, there we go. Okay. So, couple of things that I want to discuss. As we already know that we are coming back to Guadeloupe because the company told us that's the best course of action. I'm telling you from a pilot perspective, it will be possible to continue this flight, okay? Not big issues if you lose one hydraulic, and there is no indication that you are going to lose the other ones, okay? The other ones, they are all fine. So we still have the quantity, we still have the pressure, so you still have a lot of flight controls to control this airplane, so not a big issue. Of course, if you lose another one, then is land at the nearest suitable airport, but of course it can happen, but it's very rare.
Say intention, San Martin, we can have a RNP airnav approach runway 10, or another option is Guadeloupe, Tambo Foxtrot Romeo, ILS 12.
Roger, we would like to go to Guadeloupe, Tango Foxtrot Romeo. Actually, in this case, okay, a couple of things to consider. First, weather for both airports, they are almost the same. Runway in Guadeloupe is slightly bigger than in Saint Martin, so 1 point to Guadeloupe, okay? According to company that we are simulating, maintenance is better in Guadeloupe, so 2nd point to Guadeloupe. Third one is that we have an ILS approach in Guadeloupe available, so ILS approach is better than RNAV approach, especially because the one in Saint Martin does not give guidance all the way to the runway threshold. So another point to Guadeloupe. Another thing, if you decided to come back, not because company told you, but because as a pilot you think this is the best course of action, most probably you were worried about your flight itself and how to handle this non-normal situation, how to handle the landing and everything. So going to fly an ILS on a longer runway is better, okay? The amount of crosswind that we are going to have in Guadeloupe is slightly higher than Saint Martin, and this is a point to Saint Martin, especially if you have hydraulic failure. The handling characteristics, they are a little bit different, and maybe you are not going to have the same roll height. So if you can find a place with headwind, it's a better place, okay? But in this case the wind is just 2 knot difference and about 10 to 30 degrees the difference between the runways itself and the wind, so it's not a big deal, okay? What else? In Saint Martin you have that hill after the runway, so in case you need to go around, it can be a problem, because remember, once you put this gear down you cannot retract the gear anymore. But I want to show you that you are still able to go there, okay? How I'm going to show you this, let me go here to this screen. You are not going to see the airplane so far, but I'm not doing anything different, okay? So what I have here is this airplane 777-300ER with these engines. This is a manual from Latam, but it works for this airplane. And now we have engine in operative advisory information, okay? So what is our gear down landing rate of climb if we are with flaps 20, which is the case today? So basically our temperature was around 36, and at 0 feet we were going to have 730 feet per minute, at 2000 feet 560, and at 4000 feet 390. This is all valid for 225 kilograms, okay? So right now we have a slightly higher weight, so we need to reduce this by 40 feet per minute for every 5,000, okay? But what I'm going to do, actually, as we do have time, I'm going to jetson fuel to bring these weights, the weight down to something like 210, so we have 15 kilograms less of this weight, so we can increase by 150 feet then, because every 5,000 kilograms we can increase by 50 feet, so 150 on top of 730 is going to be something like 1,000 feet per minute. This is going to be something like 700 feet per minute, and this is going to be something like more than 500 feet per minute, which is more than enough for our missed approach, okay? So we can even comply with the standard missed approach there in Saint Martin, okay? One more time, remember, this is in case of engine in operative and gear down, okay? So most probably we are not going to have an engine problem, okay? So this gradient is going to be much higher. I'm just telling you that in case everything goes wrong and you have to go around and you still lost one engine, then you have the gear down capability of this airplane, that especially if you reduce your weight less than 225, you are okay. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. So let's go back to the sim, and let's say if we tell something to ATC, if they are going to reply. Center Air France 499, we would like to go back to Guadeloupe. Just to confirm, let's see if they...
Roger, Air France 499, can you please say if you're on board?
Air France 499, we have 0.5 tons of fuel on board.
Air France 499, please confirm your diversion airport.
Is Guadeloupe Tango Fox Romeo, Air France 499.
Roger, Air France 4909. In that case, turn right direct to Pointe-à-Pitre VOR. This is Papa Papa Romeo.
Direct to Papa Papa Romeo VOR, Speedbird 499. Is a right turn. Let me just check that we are going to the right place by putting this in plan. So it shows me where is Papa Papa, which is close to Tango Foxtrot Foxtrot Romeo. Yeah, this is the one that we want to fly. So we can execute and engage LNAV here. Okay, so there we are. Okay, at this time that we know where we are going, what we are doing, we can call the cabin crew. So I can say on the PA something like this: cabin chief to the flight deck, cabin chief to the flight deck. Okay, when the cabin chief enters flight deck, we are going to tell him this is a NITS briefing. So this is basically an emergency briefing. We call it NITS briefing. Are you ready to copy? And he is going to tell, oh yeah, I am ready to copy. So we have a hydraulic failure. We are going to divert to Guadalupe. Okay, I'm expecting to land in about 25 minutes to 5 minutes from now. But I will give you a call when we are 10 minutes before landing. You do not have to prepare the cabin, and I'm going to give PA to the passengers. Can you repeat? So he repeats everything. We agree with what we are doing, and then at this time I'm going to do a PA to the passengers. Something like, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking from the flight deck. We have a minor technical issue, but for our safety, the crew and the company decide that the best course of action is to divert to Guadalupe. In Guadalupe, we'll have maintenance available, and on the ground, I give you more information about your the continuation of this flight to Paris. For your attention and understanding, thank you so much. So now we talk to the passengers as well, and we are going to start preparing our return. So route Tango Foxtrot Foxtrot Romeo Guadalupe. So we can execute departure, arrival, and in Guadalupe ILS Yankee, most probably we have Papa Papa Romeo transition. Let's see if that's the one.
Air France 4909, fuel dumping is approved if needed, and runway news 12 in Loreze.
Roger, runway 12. We are going to dump fuel. I'll let you know when we start dumping the fuel. Air France 499. Okay, let me take this Papa Papa Romeo, and here we are. So VNAV, we are maintaining 290. We can execute, and top of descent, if we do have a top of descent, yeah, it's going to show in 78 miles. Okay, so we are coming back. Basically we will be landing with 57 tons of fuel. This is too much, so couple of things that we are going to do now. We are going to run the normal fuel jettison. So fuel jettison checklist. Condition: fuel jettison is needed. Fuel jettison arm switch. We have to arm it. Fuel to remain is acceptable. So fuel to remain 52.5. No, we do have zero fuel weight of 200 tons. If we land with 10 tons, is more than enough for 3 or 4 approaches in case we need to go around. So I'm thinking about something like 10 tons for this landing, and I'm going to explain you later on as well why I'm choosing this amount of fuel. So fuel to remain is acceptable. No. Fuel to remain must be changed. Yes. Fuel to remain selector, pull on and set manually. Okay, so we pull on and we set it manually. Can can we keep this? So it's showing you 41.5. $20.5. I'm going to burn it down to 12,000 right now, so 9.5 is too much, something like 12,000, because I'm still going to burn, let me see, on this approach. So right now I have 59.7, we are going to land with 57.5, so this is 2 tons, plus we are going to extend the gear, and okay, so maybe, yeah, 2.5 tons, so 11.5 will be very good for us. Let's see if we can make it. So this is 14.5, was too much in the real airplane, of course. I can do both together. 12.5. Okay, this is what we want, 12.5, and we set manually. Fuel Jetson also valve switch both to on. So center Air France 499, we are starting fuel dump. Okay, so the next one is fuel jetson is complete, we have to wait for it. Okay, so basically what we are going to do, I'm planning to land with 210 tons, flaps 20, speed of 154. Okay, so this is what we have for now. Arriving at 00, but right now is 35, so it's 25 minutes from now. Okay, let's go on VNAV. It says Mach decimal 81. Yeah, we can even do that. I can even close the speed window and go to 81, because we want to get closer anyway. And that's it. So everything is fine. Basically what I also want to do, with experience I already know more or less the performance for the airplane, but this case we have to do the performance calculations anyway. So runway 12, so weight is going to be around 210 tons. It doesn't matter the flap, because we are going to do this pressure system center with flaps 20, so it ignores the flap that we are asking as configuration, because this is going to be 20 anyway. Reverse, I'm going to put all operative. I want to use reverse because I don't want to hit my brakes. And actually I was thinking about auto brake 3, but it doesn't really change our calculations here, okay, because it always consider actually this is not the weather that we have according to our briefing. The actual weather that we are going to have today is 06018, 35 and 1025. So 06018.
Contact now at Parco Center 123.7. Bye bye.
1025, and we calculate. Parco 123.7, Air France 499. So I'm going to go back to that in a second. Parco Center, Air France 499, heavy inbound, Papa Romeo.
Air France 4990, Pinnacle Center, hello, continue through Pointe-à-Pic VOR, and when ready, descend flight level 130.
When ready, descend flight level 130, Air France 499. So flight level 130 is set, and I'm going to finish this. So basically, it doesn't matter what auto brake I select, it will always calculate for auto brake maximum here on PMDG. So with auto brake maximum, I have 1212, and landing available distance is 2854. So most probably brake 3 is more than enough for us. If I was able to do this calculation, maybe even brake 2 will be enough. I don't want to risk. I go auto brake 3 with this weight and full reverse. There is no chance that our brakes are going to hit. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to select our auto brake S3. We already have the landing flaps itself and the approach. The approach, we need to go here and select Tango, Foxtrot, Foxtrot, Romeo. Yeah, as usually it goes back. Approach, ILS Zulu. This is the RNAV, and this is ILS Yankee, the one that starts in the VOR. But according to the briefing package, actually they say that we may get this one to hold over reading. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to select ILS Zulu and minimas as cat D 265. So Zulu and 265, that's what I need. So ILS Zulu via reading. Then on the legs page, Papa Papa Romeo and reading, that's fine, that's what we want. And 265 as the minimas. $265. So our approach is from reading straight ahead to the ILS. We have some high terrain to cross on the approach. That's why we have a 3,600 minimum altitude by 10.7 miles from the VOR, 10.6 miles from the localizer, or in this case the glide slope antenna, because actually it's from the localizer, yeah, because it's 1 mile from the at the missed approach point. Yep. So 110.3 and 116 is frequency and final approach course. We want to make sure that we have this 110.3, 116, and then reading that 12 miles. Let's check here again. Yeah, 12 miles, 3,600 or above, and then 10.7 also 3,600 or above. That's what we have. 12 and Fox 12, 3,600, all fine. Runway 12, 10 miles, which is all correct. Missed approach, Fox Romeo 510, Fox Romeo 512, and Desto 3,600 or below. Let's see, it does make sense. Climb straight ahead, 510, left 512, then Desto, climbing to 3,600. Maximum to 40 knots, and we climb at least to 900 feet prior to level acceleration. Okay, so after 1,000 feet we are okay to accelerate.
Yeah, friends, 4909er, contact Le Raise approach, frequency 121.3. Have a nice day.
121.3, Air France 499, bye bye. Approach, hello, speed bus, Air France 499 with you.
Air France 4909er has the approach bonjour. Flight direct, position, reading, and hold as published.
Direct reading and hold as published. Speedbird 499, Air France 499. I don't know why I'm telling Speedbird today. So reading, and then the holding here. It doesn't say anything about this holding. 116 right turns. Okay, 116 right turns, and nothing else about the holding. Yeah, 116 right turn, so we go there, hold over reading, 116 right turns, 116 right turns, and then we have 1 minute. Altitude there, minimum holding altitude 3,600, so 3,600 100 or above. Okay, so that's it. How is our fuel damping going? Okay, actually you can even see outside that we are doing a fuel damping. I'm going to put us on the fuel area. As you can see, is simulated by PMDG. Okay, so this is our fuel damping, and if we go to the fuel page, we can check that it's still 22 minutes to go, 22 minutes to jettison this fuel. Okay, so we are almost empty on the center tank, and we still have 10 tons basically to dump each main tank. Okay, so let's continue with this. I'm going to keep the checklist that is there open so we don't forget about it. Okay, so we are descending quite fast, so I'm going to go vertical speed 500 feet per minute, because we still have to go down. Actually 1000 is okay, because if we need 22 minutes for this approach and we want to descend something like 1000 feet per minute is more than enough. Another thing that we can start doing is to reduce our airspeed to something like 250 for now, and then we realize how we reduce more as we approach. Okay, so everything is fine so far, apart from this hydraulic failure. We were talking about missed approach. As I told you, even if we have to go around with gear down and one engine failure, we can comply with the missed approach gradient. So I will keep this missed approach. Okay, the Foxtrot Romeo 510 looks like it's a few miles ahead of the runway, so not a big deal for us to continue and make this left turn. Okay, if we think that there is some weather or something related on this side of the approach, we always can ask ATC to continue straight ahead, and in this case I would be climbing to
France 49er, descend 5,000 feet, local QNH 1025.
5,01025, Air France 499. So we can go down to 5,000 and set one and pre-select 1025. Pre-selected. Okay, so missed approach is not an issue. If we think we have any issue with the controllability of the airplane, we can always ask ATC to go and climb. In this case, 1,600 is the minimum altitude on this sector, but as we are coming back, we need 4,700 to go through the north, so I would go straight ahead to 5,000 if I had to go, and then ask vectors to come back and perform another ILS or even divert to San Martin. It depends on the situation, but I'm pretty sure that we can keep the plan to continue towards Guadeloupe. Okay, so everything is doing good so far. So we can also do the descent checklist. So we do a recall here to make sure we have hydraulic pressure system center, spoilers, no auto land, auto speed brake, and hydraulic quantity low center. We can also check the notes. It says the inoperative items. One more time, primary flap and slat operation is in op. Main landing gear hydraulic operation is in op, and main gear steering is in op. We need to be below 256 knots for the slats to extend beyond mid-range. We plan already flaps 20 and VREF 20 plus 5 for landing. Roll rate may be reduced in flight, we know about it. We do not arm the speed brake lever. This is something that the checklist itself would change to speed brake lever down, but on the PMDG it stays in the arm position, so we have not to arm the speed brake and override that situation. Okay, and manually extend the speed brake after landing. I'm going to try to remember to do this. And go around, we do not extend the gear extend limit, and we are not going to taxi because of this issue, so we can go back to normal. So recall is checked, notes they are all checked. Auto brake, we have 3 landing data, VREF 2154, minimum battle 265, Approach briefing completed. As we are descending to an altitude cleared by ATC, we do not expect to hold or to stop at our altitude above this. We can set 1025, and as we set 1025, we can also do our approach checklist that says altimeter 1025. Approach checklist is complete. Let's check the fuel one more time. We are 17 minutes to go. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to call let me cancel this recall. We already did. I'm going to use this one 2 times so I can talk to the cabin crew. I say, hello, this is from the flight deck. Please, chief, can you come over? Okay, so the chief comes here. Okay, we are doing as planned. We are going to land now in 15 minutes from now. 15 minutes from now. Please complete cabin preparation for a normal landing and let me know when cabin is ready for this approach. I will give the standard calls at 10,000 feet, and if you need something, just let us know. It's supposed to be a normal landing. Okay, 15 minutes. So we discussed, we keep going, we know what we are doing. We can reduce to flap up speed right now 2 to 5 knots. 2 to 6 is the recommended speed by 2 to 5 is the best speed. Yeah, it's already there, 2 to 5. So we are reducing the speed to go down, and that's it. Basically, we are almost done. As we are approaching, I do not want to forget a couple of things. So no electronics back to on. Landing lights, we can already turn them on. Taxi light on as well, and that's it. That's it. Not much we can do. We just continue our flight. We are high, yes, but we still have to dump this fuel. We still have 23.4 now tons of fuel to go. It's going to go a little bit faster. That's why I told them 15 minutes to go, because right now we are not using much fuel because we are not using a lot of thrust, but we are almost reaching the speed that we need. So basically we are going to, the auto throttle is going to increase the speed really soon. We have status, we don't really need to check in flight, but it's always good to know. So for the next flight we have problem with flight control system, no auto land, no land 3 and auto speed brake.
Are you ready for final turn?
Negative, we need to hold Air France 499.
Roger, Air France 499er, hold over reading and report ready for the approach.
Roger, call you ready for approach, Air France 499. Okay, so here we are. We cannot start now because we are still high. We still have a lot of fuel to dump. And I do not want to descend on an area like this, descending through our fuel. So maybe we can request ATC other vectors or change this hold, ask them to do a 10-mile leg. Let's say that they approved. We are going to do a 10-mile leg, so we are descending slowly. By the time we come back to this, to the point that we were before, we were going to be above, sorry, the cloud of fuel. The fuel is not going to be there anymore. Okay, so something that I didn't consider before reaching this holding. Okay, maybe it was better to go down and perform all the holding level, but yeah, it depends on the situation. Depends what ATC want from you, what they can offer as well, and what you can accept. So 216 is the final. Let's check now fuel. So one thing that I'm going to do to burn more fuel, I'm going to actually start extending the flaps. We are below 20,000 feet. We can start extending the flaps and we can start reducing our airspeed. Okay. One thing that I want you to notice in the standard checklist. Okay, if we were going to come here to the normal menu on the approach checklist, there will be notes here for us telling that we need to use alternate flaps extension, okay, and not alternate flap extension, the secondary flap mode, and also we were going to have the procedure for the gear to extend the gear. So I'm going to show you today that if you just take the gear down, okay, you are going to get this checklist here, landing gear, and you are going to get this checklist, the gear disagree, okay, and then it's going to ask you at some point the landing gear lever itself will be down in that case, and then if the landing gear lever, not the gear, the lever is down, is going to tell us to extend the alternate gear extend switch, to push down and hold until all in gear indicating transit. Okay, so it's going to inhibit the checklist for gear door and everything. So you can do like this, okay, or you can do it by memory and then override the gear door checklist. Okay, so basically I'm just showing you what we have to do, and I'm going to keep this gear disagree here because eventually it inhibits the gear door checklist, which is good for us. Okay, so I'm going to keep these two checklists that we still have to finish on the screen one more time for the fuel, and 12.5, which is okay, and I'm going to start extending the flaps. Note, we extend the flaps with the lever itself, okay, because the hydraulic system is not working, it's going to be electrical, but it's still through the flaps, okay, so there is no need to arm the alternate flap. That's not the case for this figure. So flaps 1, and then we have another checklist which says slats primary fail. Okay, the slats primary mode is failed. One more time for the slower slat operation. We know about it. Checklist is complete. And then once the slats are extended, we are going to have the same indication for the flaps. Okay, in the real airplane we do not have this indication because this checklist, they are already inhibited as you extend the flaps. Okay, so this is just on the PMDG because they cannot do something better. Okay, so now the slats are going to reach the mid-range and the flaps are going to start coming down. Actually, in this case for flaps 1 is just the slats. So once we select flaps 5 is the time that we are going to have this issue. Okay, note that in a situation like this, when the flaps and slats are extending very slowly, first we wait the flap to reach and the slat to reach the position that you want, and then you reduce the speed. In a normal extension, we were going to select the new flap and already select the new speed. In this case, we cannot, okay, because it's going to take a while for the flaps to come down. So flaps 5, I cannot extend the flaps to flaps 5 because we are within the amber band, okay, and you do not want to fly in the amber band, so you wait the flaps to go down and then you extend. Flap primary fail, the same situation. Flaps primary mode is failed. This would be inhibited by the hydraulic quantity and by hydraulic pressure system center, but anyway we know we need more time and we are going to use flaps 20, so the checklist is complete anyway. Okay, so as we continue this flight, note flaps are going down very slowly and we still have amber band above flap 5 speed. Okay, so that's why we are waiting. Now it's going down because we are reaching flaps 5. Now it's going down. Okay, now we can reduce our airspeed to flap 5. I think on the next approach we can start the next turn we can start this approach. Okay, so flaps primary fail, we can cancel that. As you can see, flaps 5, green indication, all fine. If we go outside, we are still dumping fuel. We are now inbound the airport, but we are going to do another holding. So we are reducing our speed towards 181. Let's see for the fuel. 8 minutes to go. So at this stage, as we are preparing for approach, I want to burn more fuel. I'm going to set the gear down, okay? So in this case, I will call approach, pam 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 pam, Air France 499. We are going to extend our landing gear. We cannot retract, so we want to declare urgency, so we have the runway available for us. So I don't want to extend the gear here, and then we may not have enough fuel to reach our alternate, okay? Even though if we do it now with 23 tons of fuel, if you want to go to if you still want to go to San Martin, if something happens, still possible, okay? Of course, these predictions, they are not accurate because it doesn't count for the gear down, but if you want to go to TNCM, it's going to give us, without any gear problem, 21.6 tons of fuel. So basically we're going to burn 1.5, so what we have now is more than enough, okay? But anyway, I will declare this pam pam to have the runway for us. And another thing, I'm going to do the checklist as we were there before. So the gear disagree itself. So I want to extend or to put the landing gear lever in the down position, okay, because that's the situation. And now I open this and I hold it until all gears are in transit or down. Reduction of airspeed to below 240 knots may be necessary for the gear to lock down. So all the gears, they are locked down already. Inhibited checklist gear door. So you are going to see that we do not have the gear door checklist in this case. So we are going to wait 30 seconds. We are almost done. Cabin is ready for our approach. Very nice. Good job from the cabin crew as well. So the 30 seconds is almost gone. Three, 2, 1. It turns amber. Yes, so we wait for 30 seconds. Next one. All gear indicate down. Yes. Check gear disagree checklist complete. As you can see, the gear disagree is not even in amber anymore. And if we go to no normal, we only have the fuel jetson because the gear door checklist was inhibited by the previous checklist, okay? So that's why we did it like this. We can even do more. So let me see how much fuel we still have to dump. 4 minutes. Okay, this is, but we are going to be over the approach. So let me extend flaps to 20 to see if we can even burn more fuel. Okay, we just have the fuel jetson checklist to complete. I'm going to even keep the speed at 180 so we burn more fuel. We keep the speed. Thrust is going to increase. So fuel jetson, I do not want to, actually I would stop at 6,000 feet. By Boeing is 5,000 anyway, but I'm going to stop at 6,000 feet just because this is my current company policy, not to dump fuel below 6,000 feet. As this is sea level, 6,000 feet is okay. As you can see, we are already configured for our landing. We give them the PA call, the pump-on call, so we have the runway for us. We just have to complete this approach, and these gears doors, they will remain open because of the hydraulic system. So 3 minutes to go. I can tell him we are ready for the approach. Air France 499, we are ready for approach.
Roger, Air France 490 descend 3,600 feet and you are cleared, ILS 12.
3,600 QLS 12, Air France 499. I'm going to select, but I'm not going to descend. 3,600, I'm going to descend later on after we finish the fuel damping. So 2 minutes to go. More than enough. So far we are landing with 15.8. We still have 4 tons to go. Current weight is 115. Actually, now that we are on approach, everything is set. We are burning, let me see the engines. We are burning 12,000 kilos per hour. So 12,000 kilos, I'm going to do a math here. 12,000 kilos is 60, so 12 is 60 in 5 minutes, so 5 times 60. No, so 12 tons is in 60 minutes, so 12 times 5 divided by 60. I'm going to burn 1 ton after I finish this, so maybe it's even better for me to reduce a little bit more. 11.5, we burn 1 ton, so maybe 11. Ah, 11.5, I just want one, my friend. 10.5, 11.5, okay, I cannot do it differently, so we keep it like this. So all set. I do not want to leave, yeah, but we have to leave 6,000, so I'm going to finish the checklist right now. So checklist, it says why is not showing? Page 2, yeah, so fuel jetson is complete, yes. Both fuel jetson nose valve switches to off. I'm going to do it really soon, because I just want to start to go down. Hold, exit hold. Yeah, 12 is more than enough, so valves, they are off. Fuel jetson arm switch also to off. And then fuel jetson checklist is complete, so there is no more checklist. The next one is the landing checklist. As we are not going to arm the speed brake, we can override this item. So landing checklist is complete. In the real airplane, this will be changed by to down by the checklist itself. So now I can go down to 3,600 using flight level change. And we keep our approach. Vertical speed, that's where I want it to reach, more than enough. So I use flight level change. When I saw the altitude trend vector reaching where I want to be at 3,600, I just push vertical speed, and that's where I'm going to have the altitude itself. So the ILS is identified, we still do not have the DME. Nav radius is automatic there, all good. And there we are. Let me just check here, 1 hour and 25. I hope you learned something on this video. I hope I can give you the idea of what I'm doing. You just have to bring the speed down. I'm not bringing the speed down for now because I still want to burn this fuel. No ILS indication so far. Very, very strange. If something goes wrong, as we are visual, we can still complete this approach in LNAV and VNAV, okay? So let's see how it goes. If we do not get... Yeah, actually we are 20 miles to the airport. Should be identified by this time, but maybe we are a little bit far away because of the terrain ahead. Let's see. So all done. We can make the PA cabin crew prepare for landing. And here we are. No indications for... now we have Papa Papa 116, 16.9. Localizer is correct. Glide slope is still not there. So we are going to arm localizer initially, so localizer is armed. Waiting for the correct indication for the glide slope, and not before Foxtrot 12, because we have this altitude restriction here for the approach because of the terrain ahead. So 11.4, we are still burning fuel, that is good. Current weight 210.3. Okay, more than enough. We plan for 210. 154 is the speed. Very nice. Still waiting for the glide slope indications. And even try this one. Still no indications for the glide slope. And there we are. A nice descent. 400 feet now. Little bit of turbulence. Now we have glide slope indication.
France 499er contact tower 118.4. Bye bye.
118.4. France 499. Bye bye. 18.4. Guadalupe Tower, hello, Pampan. Air France 499, ILS runway 12.
Air France 499er, Darwell, bonjour. Wind 070, 18 knots, runway 12, clear to land.
2500.
Runway 12, clear to land, Air France 499. Okay, this we are going to cross. I can start reducing to my approach speed of 159. We are going to cross above 3600, so we can arm the approach. Approach is armed, we can go down. Slowly.
2500.
Radio altimeter is alive. So we will be out. Glide slope capture. Missed approach is 3600. We are all set for now. So all set for our approach. Is just we just need to land. Okay. Let's see if my Microsoft Sidewinder force feedback without force feedback is going to help me today or not. Remember, if we need to go around, we press toga. We maintain flaps 20. We cannot retract the gear, so it's just toga, continue climbing. If we are not sure about performance, we are visual today, we can continue straight ahead. Let ATC know, otherwise we keep flying the standard missed approach is not a big deal to do that turn. Remember the charts in France, they mention the minimum acceleration height, which is 900 feet, so we don't do it below 1000 feet anyway, so we keep climbing to 1000 and then we accelerate as needed, and we can even keep flaps 20 to go back. In this case, even a visual approach can be an option, but if you destabilize on the ILS, because it's tricky to fly in this situation without less spoilers to help you with the directional control, okay, maybe it's better to request vectors and do at least a 10-mile final, so you have the airplane completely established with the autopilot in a good position for you to complete your land. I want to manually fly a little bit before the landing, but not that early, and I'm not going to also leave the autopilot all the way to the end, and not too early, because it's easier to leave the airplane flying on the autopilot, so it's correcting, it's streaming, so everything is going to be in place when you take manual controls. But you also want to feel how the weather is, how the airplane is behaving before this landing. So around 1500, I have 2 minutes before the landing, so it's going to be good enough, in my opinion, to complete this. So I'm waiting for 1500 and the ILS and the system check. We are going to have no land 3, but that is fine, so maybe we are going to see land 2 today for this approach, and then I disconnect and I keep flying manually towards the runway. I'm also not sure if the ILS is calibrated to the simulator scenario, and also the PAPI, so I'm going to fly visually towards the touchdown point on runway 12. Okay, roll out, flare and land 2. We were expecting something like this, and I'm going to get it closer so I can fly like this. Okay, so now manual flight director. Yeah, it's a little bit different, I can already see. I will keep the flight directors for now. The ILS is supposed to take me all the way down to the runway, but
1000.
and I need to extend the speed brakes manually. Yep, so speed brakes, manual speed brakes after landing. We are coming down, I don't want to go down. Puppies 2 and 2, we are on the glide, so we keep going down. The force feedback without force feedback is really bad, but what to do, we have to keep flying like this. I want to descend 800 feet per minute, no more than this. Three reds, I'm correcting.
400.
Very good.
Approaching minimums. 2 minimums.
Yeah, roll rate is reduced, I can notice that.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Okay, let's put the airplane down. Speed brake. Full reverse. Auto brake 3 looks okay. We go all the way down. So 100 knots yet. Auto brake 3 is more than okay. Now we have 900 feet, 900 meters to go. 600 meters to go, start of the yellow lights. And the full red light is 300 meters to go. So now we have white and red. 60 knots. Idle reverse.
France 4909er, stop on the runway. Assistance on the way to toward the aircraft.
Okay, so auto brake is gone. And here we are, we stop here when we set the parking brake. Okay, speed brake is retracted. We can even check our gear. Amazing, 1.4 for the temperature. All good, all set. So this was...
4909er, stop on the runway. Assistance on the way to tow the aircraft.
Oh, I didn't tell him. Roger, we just stop on the runway, Air France 499, thank you. Okay, all fine. Eventually they are going to tow the airplane. We can even think about starting the APU now and then do the after landing flow. And that's it. So basically, one more time, hydraulics. We lost the center hydraulic, which means we lost couple of flight controls, couple of spoilers. Everything else is working, so just a couple of spoilers and the auto speed brake. Also, then we have the problems with the flaps, okay, and the gear. As you can see, the gear downs, the gear doors, they are open. The flaps we can even retract.
Hi guys,
Now if we want.
to Le Rézé Airport in Guadeloupe. You decided to fly to Guadeloupe, which is a longer segment, but in fact it lets you burn more fuel, and you also have a longer runway, and you also have an ILS approach. So it's a lot of benefit compared to going back to Saint Martin, where you have to do an air nav approach with an heavier aircraft and some terrain in front of you. So that's a good decision in my point of view. Well done.
I agree. Yeah.
I hope you enjoy this scenario. Please, as always, leave a comment. I will be very pleased to get your comment in the Discord channel. Thank you guys, and see you soon for another scenario.
See you, JP. Bye bye. So now we can do our after landing here. Strobo is T1 because we are still on the runway, and that's all that we can do for now. So auto brake to off. This one goes to transponder. Also, we can even take it to standby now because we are not going to use anymore. TK off. We cancel. We can shut down the engine. We can shut down the engine. Keep the seat belts on because we are going to be towed. And also, they have to make sure they put the pin. So if they don't put the pin, we have to depressurize the hydraulic system. Usually they put the pin. We don't even need the fuel anymore. And as there is no well, actually we are going to be towed, so the beacon lights stay on. Engine shut down. We have the hydraulic system issue, which is fine. Transponder standby. Yes, so all fine, all good here from my side. And then they push us to the final position. As they push us to the final position, we can always complete. Let's say that we are now at the gate, and at the gate I would take the beacon off, I would take the flight directors off, and just waiting the flaps to reach up so we can do the shutdown checklist. So let's open shutdown checklist. So hydraulic panel is, yeah, this one I miss. So now hydraulic panel is set. Flaps, they are going up. Parking brake is set. And I also forgot about the weather radar. That's why we have checklist. So in this case, terrain was still open on that side. Just the flaps, waiting the flaps to come. Of course, it takes a while. It is in electric mode. Actually, in this case, I even have to think if the flaps, they are going to move with only the APU. I don't think so. So I don't think so they move in this case. But what we can do, we can always come here, FS actions, ground connections, dual jetway. I told you we are on the parking position already. So I assume if we enter the one, it's going to retract. Why not? We do not have load shedding. Yeah, we still have load shedding even though we have APU. Yeah, maybe two external. Let's see. Just want to try. Yeah, now we have no load shedding anymore. So the flaps, they should be going up. eventually. No, they are stuck. Anyway, we can even try this one just as an extra measure. Yeah, this way we can. This is because of the primary and the secondary and the alternate loss for the flap. But here we go. Flaps are retracting. Once flaps are retracted, the slats are going to retract as well. Out of the session, just to show you how the system works. Okay, as you can see, flaps, they are almost at zero. When the flaps are at zero, the slats will start to move. Let me see. Looks like flaps reach zero. Slats, please go. No, not moving. Yeah, moving very, very slowly. So the same rate that they are retracting is the same rate that they extend. Very, very slow. You got the idea. So guys, if you like this video, please give me the thumbs up. Share with your friends. Let's summarize what I told you on this flight. For the hydraulic quantity low, I would ask Tower if they have any information or any sign of hydraulic fluid on the airport itself. Then later on, when we have the failure, we realize it's not only an indication, it's an actual real leak, and we do the checklist for the, in that case, for the standby, sorry, for the system hydraulic center. There is no need to land it near suitable airport. You can even fly it tops with it. The airplane is under the autopilot. Everything is working. 2 engines are working. You have 2 hydraulics. Main pumps, they are related to that engine. I mean, everything is in place. You can continue the flight, and then if you continue a long flight like this, you will have a couple of benefits. You will burn the fuel that you need for a lower landing weight. You will take the passengers to your destination safely, and of course, if something else happens during the flight, you have to divert. But you can have an engine failure, you can have a pressurization failure or another failure, you never know. So just for the hydraulic system center, in my opinion, is not a reason to come back, unless when you talk to the company, you explain the situation, they let you know that they are thinking about something else, or they are afraid about any other hydraulic system because they have more data. Believe it or not, they have all the data from this airplane, so they can tell us if it's a better idea to come back. In that case, today they told us that it was the best to come back, so we came back. We decided for the longest runway with the same weather situation, ILS approach, and also better go around obstacle clearance in case we had to go around. Okay, so all of these in consideration. Also maintenance support here in Guadeloupe, but as I showed you, there will be no problem to go to Saint Martin. If you go to Saint Martin or Saint Martin, I didn't know that it's called Saint Martin, as I listened to JP saying the name at the end of the ATC. If you had to go to Saint Martin, most probably brake 3 will be just enough, and maybe you have to brake a little bit more close to the end of the runway. So in real airplane is easier, so you can check actually with brake 3, 4 and maximum automatic and maximum manual what is your landing distance. Here on PMDG you only have to maximum manual, so you have to guess more or less for the auto brake. And I think this one was not bad. I think the auto brake 3 brought us almost to the end of the runway. We still can vacate here to the left and taxi to the apron. Okay, so basically that's it. A few differences also by PMDG. It doesn't tell you how to do the alternate gear extension on the checklist itself, on that hydraulic checklist. So basically, if you try to extend the gear, you are going to get the gear disagree checklist, and then with the gear disagree checklist you end up doing the manual extension. So if you already know by heart, you can set the gear down and already go to your alternate gear extension. However, have in mind that in this case you will have the gear door checklist to complete, so you can complete the gear door checklist if you want, or override if you know that the gear doors are not retracting. Okay, so another thing is the speed brake, as the checklist tells you not to arm the speed brake. When you open the landing checklist on the real airplane, that speed brake arm is going to change to down, and you keep the speed brake lever down, and you are going to see that line green and not white in the beginning, or cyan, the blue one, because I override today. Okay, so in the real airplane you do not have to override. The answer for that part would change from armed to down, and you keep the speed brake lever down and you extend after landing. In this situation, always the best idea is to use full reverses. So in case you land a little bit deep, you are already planning with the full reverses. The full reverses will also help you with the brake cooling, and in case you really need to stop, you go to manual brakes. You already have your reverses running, so it's much easier to stop. Okay, just remember, first step, speed brake manual in this case is what you need. Okay, I hope you liked, and I see you another day. Bye bye.